Hey, I'm standing right outside of Shannon Michelle's studio where a fashion shoot is underway. We're gonna go inside. She's invited Style It Up to go in and take a closer look, but we're gonna have to try to be really, really quiet. Let's head inside. Shannon, thank you so much for taking the time to invite Style It Up here and sit down with us for a little chat.
Sure.
So I want to ask you, was there a definitive moment where you said, I want to do this for a living? I want to be a fashion photographer.
I was in school for science and I was transferring schools and about to go into a more intensive medical program, and I realized I wasn't doing it for the right reasons. So I reevaluated the situation. I remember there was a photograph that I took when I was younger, about 12 years old, that it just kind of stuck in the back of my head. And so I thought about photography again. And I really love taking pictures. So I went online, looked up schools, moved halfway across the country to Boston, and have never looked back.
And how do you set yourself apart from other photographers in the Boston area?
I try to stay on top of the latest trends here and outside of Boston. I'm constantly keeping up with my contacts in New York. I do a lot of work there, and I attend Fashion Week every season. Try to keep up with that, as well as constantly thinking of new ways to help models promote themselves with interesting product lines and materials and marketing and that sort of thing.
What's your relationship like with other photographers in Boston?
I hope it's pretty good. I think that it's really important for photographers to network together and help each other out. I love being able to pick up the phone and saying, hey, ask them a question about the newest product or equipment, or even just a second opinion on a photograph. It's great to have that camaraderie. This is one of our newest products. They're called pocket portfolios, and they're great for self-promotional materials. They're little 4x5 books, and they keep all of your nice, fantastic photographs. And you can have your contact information printed anywhere on the front, the back, on each photograph. So it's a really neat idea, and I think a lot of casting agents like to see something different.
So, how I first met Shannon, I was 16, I was a little baby, and I actually was sitting in a restaurant with my father, and I was telling him that I wanted my portfolio done. And I said, Dad, I really want I want a model. So he said, call the New England School of Photography. So I called the New England School of Photography, and the receptionist answered. And she said, okay, well, I'll put your name down, I'll send your name out through emails. So she said, do you want to pay for a photographer, or do you want free photographer? So I said, I don't care. As long as it's done right, it's done right. So a few photographers emailed me, and one said, oh, you can come into the school and we'll take pictures of you. One was willing to work with me on a TF basis, but the work wasn't really that good. And then Shannon emailed me, and I saw her website, fell in love with her stuff. The way, the poses she had, the colors, her eye for just her creations, you could just see it. I felt connected to her images, so had to have her. Called her up, booked her for my first portfolio. We did 12 different looks in like the matter of 12 hours, and it was great. And now she can't get rid of me. So she's great.
So tell me about your headshots. What kind of reactions do casting people have when they see the headshots of you?
Funny you asked that, because I went to a casting for a local movie that was here. It wasn't actually local, they were big major motion picture, and a New York agency was scouting for talent, and there were thousands of people there, thousands. And I put my headshot on the desk, because you have to put your headshot down when you go into an audition, or open call, or casting, anything. And I'm telling you, thousands of people, not exaggerating. I put it down on the table and they said, "You're Gianna Simone. We've seen your headshot everywhere. We love it." And she never met me. She was from New York. one of the biggest casting agencies in New York, and she remembered my headshot. Out of thousands of people she must see a day, she remembered Shannon's headshot. She literally is Boston's headshot hotshot.
So you were recently given a cute little nickname by the press. Tell us about that.
I was called Boston's headshot hotshot, and they've just given that to me because I like to do something a little bit different with headshots. Boston, I find, has been so conservative for such a while, so I like to bring a little something different. You know, just still following the guidelines of a regular headshot, but just, you know, if it's a shadow or an angle that's slightly different, you've got to catch the attention of the viewer, and that's what I've been trying to do. So it's been standing out, and it's been working because a lot of my clients have booked a lot of great gigs with the headshots that I've given them. So
it's fabulous. So describe the current fashion scene in Boston, and where do you hope it goes?
I hope that it grows, because right now it's a little non-existent. I think that there's a lot of talent here on many genres. It's just that there's not a lot of opportunity for, I guess, promotional growth. People aren't doing it full time, so it's a little bit tough. And it's also very conservative still. So I'm hoping that, you know, we learn to open our minds and become open to options and creativity and different styles.
What advice can you give to people in the Boston area as far as finding the right photographer?
It's an investment, so invest in the right person. You know, I mean, you're looking for something that is going to potentially make you stand out from other people. You know, obviously, that's the initial thing that you want. It's still your job to get that role or that gig or that job at the modeling position. But you need something that stands out, and it's an investment, and that's potentially going to make you more work and more money in the long run. And also, be comfortable with the person that's shooting you. You know, go and meet them. You should trust the person that you're working with. It's a difficult job to model, so you want to be as comfortable as possible.
Thank you so much for
You're
taking
welcome.
the time and being with
Thank
us.
you.
This has been a lot of fun,
Thanks.
so we really appreciate it.
Thank you.